All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Welcome back, traders, to our 10:30 a.m. update. Mr. Softy leading the charge here. Dennis looks like it wants to test that 33
It's
level.
off to the races, Joe. We were telling this morning if it held the 32, we still liked it. If it would have taken out the 32, we were going to start to get nervous. It's low 32.05. It really opened 32.16, kind of tested that 32s, making the low of 32.05, but has been off to the races here now. Stock has just basically been marching from the open. Nice, pretty trend straight up. I'm still thinking eventually that's where it's going to top out, is that 33 area, because he had these three highs here. We know there was some size at 33. You know the high frequency guys love to lean on the size. I got to think they're going to be in the 32.90s offering stock. So we're 20 cents away from there right now. So you're a bit early here, but if you're willing to risk 30 cents here, maybe that's, a play. I'm a little bit now. I don't like losing 30 cents on a stock like Microsoft. I'd probably get a little bit closer, maybe sell it in the 80s. If it takes out that 33 though, all bets are off. But that's, your bogey is that 33 number.
Yeah, but still certainly continuing with the momentum. Tech stock du jour, Apple Computer, 12-point range, really all over the place, Dennis. Just it got below Thursday's low by a couple points and then snapped back up. I'm just looking at this 592.23 area. It did trade $2 above that. But really, I think to make a challenge at the $600 level, it needs to get back and hold the 592. This stock is just all over the place, Dennis.
Yeah, I think investors probably jockeying for position ahead of Tuesday's earnings report. So you've got, one more trading session after this one, really. And then obviously we have Apple earnings. So that's going to really be the driver here going forward. I guess it's a matter of whether the Bulls or the Bears or whoever wants, what they want their positions to be here, Joel. But it's kind of consolidating a bit here in the last, 20 minutes. But man, it is all over the place, Joel. And if we look, you've had, let's just talk about the last 4 or 5 trading sessions. Obviously we had the major breakdown, falling down to that 571.91 area. The dead cap bounce all the way up to that 620, and the Goldman upgrade to boot up there basically topped it out. They upgraded probably at a really bad time. They upgraded it with 610, it went to 620, and it's been straight down ever since. Cut through the 600, bounced off 582 this morning. So, now I look, it's starting to, just this chart is starting to look like it's going to fall off a cliff. But, maybe it's because earnings are coming, it's so hard to trade this technically because, like you were saying to me just a few minutes ago, this thing's probably going to move 40 or 50 points in either direction, on Tuesday after the earnings reports. So it's almost really hard to predict which side that's going to be. But I still think this is priced a little bit to perfection still, too. I mean, we've had a 250-point run here in the last year, so it's been a heck of a run. We had a gap and go from the last earnings report. I don't know if I see that happening again, but you never know with this stock, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of last week, I had a pretty good feel for the numbers, was looking at 620 level, and we took that out. And then I had the 578 level that I was confident in. But since then, it's really been a tough call here. Since it's made that 620 high, you've had 3 lower highs. So I just think there's going to be a lot of people that are saying, hey, I've had a couple shots to get out at 600. I'm going to, if it gets near there again, there'll be sellers. And I don't see it taking out that 571, the low of the move, ahead of earnings. Another stock just kind of following through on the downside. I know a lot of people are still bullish IBM here, Dennis, but still kind of continued from the sell-off from the earnings day. Now really back under 200.
Man, this has been, it had 3 straight days of lower highs, lower lows. Today, I think you're going to get this consolidation day. It's in a real tight range today, trading in a 97-cent range, the high 200.09, the low 199.12. We're kind of just hanging out here. It's got a long ways to go to take out yesterday's low of 197.52, so maybe we have an inside day here in IBM, a little rest period. But chart doesn't look overly good. We're now, trading below the 200. We had a close below 200 yesterday. We're trying to close possibly below 200 again today. Start getting a few closes below 200. That area starts to act like significant resistance. And then obviously if we break down below the 197.52 low, then I wouldn't want to own this at all.
And then just to finish up with some of the follow through, the Intel Dennis it made the low of the day. That the earnings came out. It's tested that area. Hasn't really been much to spend much time over 28, and now you're starting to lean on these lows again. This 27, 44, and 46, the lows from Wednesday and Thursday. I think that's the level that's got to hold if people, if the stock is going to turn around and go back up over to that 28.50 level. I think right here is a low risk entry on the buy side as long as that area holds. Below 27.50, then I really think the luster is going to be off Intel for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Joel. I think you got to just play it, play it off these highs and the lows. Because even looking at the other end of it, Joel, you could say, well, you could do a low risk short in this 28.10 area because that topped out 3 or 4 times there through the last couple of days. So you're getting some significant resistance up there. So if it cuts through, I like that. I like sometimes when you sell as 28.10 because a lot of people sell at 28 and then there'll be a little shakeout. It'll spike up a few cents through the print. So the 28.10 number is a nice number up there. Trying a low risk short. If it obviously takes it out, starts trading 28 and a quarter, starts marching towards 52-week high, then I wouldn't want to own it. So you could play it either way. Maybe range trade this thing for a couple days until it figures out which way it wants to go.
And just kind of following through on the earnings play with Goldman Sachs status here, where couldn't hold that 115 level, has just been drifting down.
Goldman Sachs does not look great either. This chart is ugly. Like we had such a run up, for the whole year. We started around $92 at the beginning of the year. We ran up to that 128.72 high, and we've kind of just been drifting down ever since. You got this trend, almost argue a head and shoulders type of pattern starting to form. Kind of looks like we're ready to fall off a cliff. I wouldn't want to. So if this thing starts taking out that 112.47 low from yesterday, then it starts to open up to this 110 area, Joel. So nervous on the banks. A lot of the other financials are weak today too. I know you can look at this market, say we're up 8, but the financials are holding us back here because you got Goldman trading down, just running through them. You got Citigroup trading down. You've got JP Morgan trading down. So, well, actually JP Morgan's up 16 cents, but Bank of America's trading down as well. So you've got a lot of financials that are pretty weak here today, Joel. I know in the pre-market show we were saying the European financials are actually strong, while the U.S. financials are not following suit. They're actually quite weak, and the charts are not looking great. They're looking like they've consolidated in these lower areas for a few days here, and they're starting to make me look nervous again about the financials.
And you think about it, Bank of America spiked up to 945 in the pre-market yesterday, opened substantially below that level and sold off. It looks like it didn't even have good earnings.
Yeah,
like
exactly, Joel. Like they blew the number away. The thing was trading up 5% pre-market, trading up in this 950 area. Opened like 915, went straight down. And if you can't get a lift on that good of news, that's just a sign. That's a tell there for me that this investors still they're not that confident in this stock. So I don't know. I'm not that confident in it either. I don't know if I'd be a seller. I'd like to see a rally up to that $9 again to give you a little lower risk short because I think it could. You're at 869. You've fallen off pretty significantly since yesterday. So if it were to rally, you could be 30-40 cents underwater in this thing in a hurry. But the stock doesn't look great to me either.
Okay, and rest of the earnings plays that we talked about from today, GE got a real nice pop off the open, Dennis, but it's seen to give a little bit back. I pat myself a little bit on the back here. Thursday's high, 19 and a quarter. We were looking at to be the support, and it bounced off there. Now it's kind of mid-range.
Yeah, it's kind of mid-range hanging out. It would have been nice to see. It took out that 1950 area that we were talking about, might offer some initial resistance. Cut through, got as high as 1963. But really, since then, it's just kind of peeled back here. So it had a lot of volatility right in the first 10-20 minutes. Peeled back, bounced off that low that you talked about, is bouncing right now, trading 1940. So kind of in the middle of the range. You could argue this little intraday uptrend here happening. So maybe you could argue along from that perspective. But I don't know. I'm wishy-washy on this. It's kind of like a risk-off day a little bit for some issues here too, Joel, because you've got a lot of your defensive issues that are very, very strong today. Check out Procter & Gamble. That stock opened strong, and it has been off to the races. It opened up 23 cents, and it's just been straight up ever since. Johnson & Johnson, almost same story. Stock opened pretty strong, gapped up on the day, and opened at the low end, has been moving up here too. So when you start seeing these defensive names start to move higher here, you got this whole sector rotation thing happening. So I think they're moving out of your financials into some of your more defensive names. Obviously, some of your tech stocks like Microsoft doing very well. But that's what I see happening here. Is some of the defensive names are actually pretty strong here, Joel.
Okay, well we've cleared the Globex high by a little bit. This kind of really is a trading setup that we've had a lot this week, where mixed open and then rally and then kind of giving it back later in the day, kind of trudging up here. I'm looking at the major resistance we got at the 1388.75, which was Tuesday's high, and 1390, which was Thursday's Globex high. But I don't know if we got enough push to get up there. But that's going to be your major resistance. And then coming back on the downside, it just seems like every time we get near the mid-range on the day, the 1376, we found pretty good support. So that's our show for today, folks. Nothing real exciting for you. Getting a little follow-through here on all these positive earnings announcements. So let's see if we can carry the SPOOs up to that 1390 level.